I look for in a deal? How do I pick the right deals to invest in? That is a bit of a loaded question. A lot of information there on what to look for in a deal. I want you to think about this a little differently. Instead of just looking for stuff in a deal, right? Looking for magic numbers and key returns and all of that. I want you to really think more like a business owner. And what I mean by that is, I think too often apartment investors, they just start analyzing deals. They grab a rent roll, they grab a T12, they throw it into a spreadsheet, and they see if the magical numbers work. And I think that's an awful way of evaluating deals. This is just terrible. And maybe that's not what you were taught, but I think it's stupid, to be honest with you. Because those numbers don't mean anything without context. You have to validate and verify every component of those numbers. So instead of just analyzing the numbers, I really want you to analyze the opportunity, analyze the business plan, and see if you can make this thing work. Now, yes, the current performance is a huge chunk of that. We want to look at the rent roll and see what kind of rents are you getting right now. I want to look at the T12, which is the trailing 12 months of operations. It's the financials. It's an income statement. It's a profit and loss statement. I'm going to look at that to see how's this property performing? How much income is it generating? What are the expenses? And I'm analyzing it to see what's different. Where are the anomalies? Where can I tighten things up? Or where would things be harder for me? A lot of times if you're looking at a property and it's self-managed, I'm not going to be able to run it more efficiently than someone who is super handy and does all the repairs themselves. So when I get into my expenses, I'm going to have to increase those expense line items because I'm not buying for me to go and be a handyman. But some people, that's how they operate. So you look at their property or you look at the T12 and that expense line item is really thin. Or you'll see that they haven't factored in changes. So taxes tend to go up. Insurance tends to go up. So if you're buying just off of that T12, you may miss some things. And that can be critical when you're evaluating a business or evaluating a property you're going to buy. So for me, it starts with I'm looking for opportunities to create value. And when I'm looking at a deal, that's the very first question I'm asking. How can I create value? Is it increasing rents? Is it lowering expenses? Is it renovating the property? Is it repositioning the property? Is it adding different amenities? Sometimes repositioning is not the physical reposition. It could be repositioning who you're talking to. Maybe you want to do midterm rentals and go after traveling nurses or students or others. So you have to understand what your business plan is before you just start underwriting deals. So for me, when I'm looking at a deal, my very first thing that I'm looking for is how can I create value? And that's because our investing thesis is about value add investing. If you are just looking for mailbox money or you're just looking to get a trophy asset that you can invest in, keep in your portfolio, and it kicks off 4, 5, 6% cash on cash return to you, then maybe you don't need to do that. Maybe you just want a really nice solid property. It's cash flowing. You can look at the rent roll, you can look at the T12, and you're good to go. But for us, because we are looking to create value, my very first question has to be, where can I create value in this deal? And then I have my guardrails as far as what I want to see in the location, as far as what I want to see in the property, the unit mix, the size of the property, the ability to manage it. I have my kind of criteria on those things, but I think for everyone, you have to figure out what makes sense for you as an investor. So that is what we're looking for when it comes to the deals.